Welcome back to the Shine Bright Academy podcast. Today, I connected with myself and I wanted to talk to you about a topic that so many of us struggle. Or at least, you think you struggle with it. And that is consistency. Like showing up every day, posting, creating, being disciplined, being on it. And maybe you've told yourself 1,000 times, I need to be more consistent. I need to be more disciplined. If I could just show up every day, my business would finally grow. But what if I told you something a little provocative, right? You don't have a consistency problem. You have a fear problem. So let me unpack this for you. We live in a world that worships consistency. Everyone is telling you the key to success is consistency. Post every day, show up every day, never break the chain, right? And yes, consistency can be powerful. But this is what almost nobody tells you. Consistency created from fear is not consistency. It's self-pressure. You putting pressure on yourself. And it feels like you're rowing against the river, right? So when your action come from fear, whatever fear of failing, fear of being unseen, fear of disappointing yourself, fear no one is buying, right? You're doing something and you have those fear like, yeah, but if I do this, no one is going to see me, right? You're literally trying to build your dream with shaky hands. And shaky hands cannot create art. So let me bring you into a moment where I personally got this wrong, right? And I still do. Sometimes I still find myself in this spiral, right? So it was this period in my business where I was showing up with this like really tight control tone. And I know that I was performing. I wasn't creating. I was posting because I believed if I don't post today, I won't be visible. If I don't promote myself every day, no one will buy. And I also thought, like, if I don't reach out to 5 or 10 people a day, even more, sales won't come in. So what did I do? I pushed myself to be consistent. I really did, but my consistency had no soul. I was more in manager mode than in creator mode. And that is the difference when you're in manager mode than in creator mode. When you're in manager, you're doing things on automation. I was reaching out to people without truly connecting with them. I wasn't really listening, like deeply. Honestly, the content I was putting out there felt a bit bland. Vanilla, safe. And the worst part, even though I was posting consistently, nothing happened. No engagement, no energy, no results. And so what do? You go into the algorithm trap. And inside, I felt shame. I felt like panic because nothing was happening. I was doubting myself, right? Because consistency built from fear doesn't create momentum. It drains you. Now, let me take you to a complete different moment to show you the difference, right? The moment where everything clicked. It was when I launched my visibility masterclass. This wasn't strategy. This wasn't disciplined, right? I wasn't in the mind of, I must be consistent. I launched this masterclass because it was from pure desire. This desire to teach, this desire to share my freedom from my marketing and branding background, from my leadership skills, from my coaching, training, like this desire to really empower women, this desire to show people what's possible when they stop hiding. And there, I wasn't performing, I was expressing myself. I wanted to share, I wanted to teach. And guess what? The invitation felt magnetic. Even the image I created for the promotion had soul. It had energy and people could feel the energy even behind it, right? And the magic behind that is that when I did the masterclass with the same energy, being me, present, curious. I wanted to share, I wanted to create. 2 women join on the spot, the legendary Women Incubator, instantly. Just like that, right? And that's not because I posted every day. That's not because I followed a formula, or not because I was disciplined, because I was on fire, right? I was devoted, not disciplined. Devotion takes you further than discipline ever will. Because when you connect to that desire to create, this is your spark, this is your pull, this is your inner yes. Devotion is the moment you bow to that voice of desire. So when you surrender to this desire, this inner calling, and you choose to listen to it, you embody it, this is where you create your best art. Because when you try to force consistency, you cut yourself off from the pulse of life, the desire to create, your creativity. But when you devote yourself to what lights you up, your consistency becomes effortless. Because it's no longer coming from the mind, it's coming from eros, from desire, from your deepest truth. And when I trust that desire, when I create from that space, I am deeply humbled, because I get people replying to my newsletter, like the one I wrote about intensity. And she said, honestly, Elodie, I cried when I received your email because I felt so seen. That message in the newsletter came from desire. It came from truth, right? From my body, not my brain. So, and this keeps happening. I met a woman recently on Zoom. We met for a Zoom coffee chat, right? We've never met before. And she said, we haven't even met, but I feel like I already know you. And when on the call, she said, actually, you're exactly who you say you are online. She felt the same thing. And then I realized authenticity performs better than any algorithm every single time, right? So consistency is not the point. It's like connection. Connection is. So you remember that we are creators, right? We are artists. We are not machines built to fill the algorithm. No, think of Van Gogh didn't batch content, right? Monet didn't post daily. They didn't fake who they were to get the engagement. They created because they were moved by desire. And your business, your message, your leadership wants the same thing from you. So stop managing your circumstances, like organizing your life around fear, right? Be the artist of your life again, the woman you came here to be. So it's so important. If you had to take something away from this episode today, is fear-based creation invites scarcity, right? Fear-based creation, when you create from fear, this invites scarcity. Desire-based creation invites momentum. So it's never the lack of consistency that will hurt your business or your growth. It's when you're creating from fear. Because when you create from fear, your energy is tight, your message is flat, your people can't feel you, right? Your impact is muted. But when you create from desire, your soul comes online, your ideas start to flow, your work becomes magnetic and people feel you, right? The result will come naturally. So what do I do when fear show up? Because they do, they do, they sneak in, right? I feel the fear. I really go there. I feel it. I cry. I acknowledge it. I don't push it away. I move with it because fear is not the enemy. It's trying to protect me, right? But then I let go, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. Nike said it, right? You don't have to push it away. It's there for a reason, but let it go. I breathe. I go and meditate. I go for a walk. I move my body. Sometimes I dance or I sit in stillness. But the most important is coming back to my body. Because coming back to my body means that I regulate my nervous system. Because when my body feels safe, my creativity unlocks. And then I ask myself, What does my loving self need right now? Like, what would feel loving to me? And sometimes the answer is not the thing I should do. Sometimes it's like the thing my soul wants to do. Like, record this amazing podcast. Like, that was my soul wanted to do that. Like, or write this deep email, newsletter, or touch the next module of my course, or create something beautiful and meaningful. Like, really follow that spark. Because desire always brings me back into flow. What I realize is that I don't need to push harder. I don't need to shame myself into consistency. I don't need to become more disciplined. What I need to do is to return to my desire, because desire creates devotion. And devotion creates a kind of consistency that feels natural, not forced. And when you show up from desire, your presence becomes art, right? Your work becomes impact, and your visibility becomes inevitable. So before I go, I want to leave you with one question for reflection. Where in your life or business have you been trying to be consistent when what you truly needed was desire? Where in your life or business have you been trying to be consistent when what you truly needed was desire? Sit with that. Let it speak, right? And maybe let it change the way you show up for the rest of the week. Until next time, thank you for listening.